Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is May the 1st, and yes, as you can see in the thumbnail and the title, who is that? Zelenskyy talking about the story that nobody's talking about, and it is the absolute truth. In a day where we're seeing lots of news, mineral deal, weapons, we'll get to all of that in just a few minutes. I know it's being covered everywhere else. I want to carry the stories that nobody's covering and show you what is really happening, and that's what we're going to do. So you can see the image here. Oh, and by the way, I do have the only official Russian response to what has unfolded in the last 24 hours with the mineral deal, waltz, etc., etc. But we'll get to that. This is what needs to be shared today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting, liking, and helping tell this story. Who is that? And of course, it's a play on the picture of Donald Trump from Butler, Pennsylvania, the assassination attempt. That is, drumroll please, Sternenko. And I know, guys, this is going to be for you out there around the world that are really not on the inside of Ukraine, but you're fighting for Ukraine and looking for the truth. This is going to be a story or a person that you may not know. But let me tell you something. If you're in Ukraine or you're in Russia, you know it. This is Sternenko, and he is a blogger, a political activist. He is a YouTuber. And today there was an assassination attempt on his life, and he was shot and wounded. He has already been through surgery. He was saved by a private security detachment of SBU. And it's such a story that even President Zelenskyy is talking about it. And you may say, well, Greg, what's so big about this guy? Why is this such a big story? And you had the title like that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is. Here's Sternenko. He has 2.05 million subscribers. And you may ask, okay, well, that's a lot. But what does he do? He has provided millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars through his activism to the Ukrainian military in the form of drones, thousands every day. He's on the hit list for Russia. This is multiple times that he has been had an assassination attempt against him. The person on the left there, it was a lady from Odessa. You can see the circle there with the gun. This is the real story. And fortunately, he's already through surgery. No vital organs were hit, and he is back home and pushing for more drones, and we'll be back on YouTube very soon. So this is reality. And you say, well, okay, well, it's just a YouTuber. Oh, really? How important is this? Stories nobody's talking about. This is what Russia is doing everywhere. And if you're fighting against them, you're on their list. Make no mistake about it. Here's Zelenskyy. Today we have new decisions on sanctions. We're going to talk about sanctions. 3 sanction packages. We are blocking the activities of numerous entities, companies, and individuals who unfortunately work for Russia in one way or another. They assist the Russian army and the occupation structures on our land in Crimea and in the Donetsk region. This time, sanctions also target those who regrettably serve Russian propaganda and are involved in information operations against Ukraine and against Ukrainians. What matters most now is that our country's sanctions be synchronized with those of our partners. The head of the Security Service of Ukraine reports on the investigation into the attack of volunteer Sergei Sternenko. The Security Service of Ukraine detained the attacker. Thank you for that. All facts related to the attack will be presented to the public. The Russians are getting a proper response. Thank you to everyone standing with Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. You see, this is what I'm trying to share with you want you to understand. On a day when we have huge news, the mineral agreement, Ukraine has the ability to spend some money on American weapons. We may see some movement. We'll look at that in just a moment. Zelenskyy is talking about the operations that are happening inside Ukraine and even calling out Sergei Sternenko, saying, listen, we took care of him. We protected him, because this is the kind of war. It's a grassroots effort. And I say that to encourage you and to thank you for partnering, for fighting, for sharing, commenting, liking, donating, all of those things that we do together. This is the only way that victory will come, and victory will be guaranteed through people. So Sternenko, we wish him well today. Now, he's not the only one, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dmitri Gordon. He's a Ukrainian journalist, TV host, and blogger from 95 to 2019, served as the chief editor of the newspaper Gordon Boulevard, been hosting his program, Visit Dmitri Gordon, since 96, founder of the online publication Gordon, and owns 2 YouTube channels that have received YouTube's Gold Creator Award for surpassing 1 million subscribers. And here is Gordon's, okay? Yeah, he's just at 3.44 million, basically 3.5 million. So you're talking about really massive ability to move the Richter scale and to help Ukraine between Sternenko and also Dmitri Gordon. Here's Gordon speaking.
Several groups have been caught, yeah. Elite FSB hitmen sent by Putin to kill me, yeah. Official statement from Ukraine's security service. So I don't live at home. I'm constantly moving around Ukraine. I don't go to shops or markets. I don't go anywhere, really. Though I used to love that. I really do miss it. I don't drive anymore. I don't have a car. I'm driven around. I'm under state protection. It's a whole different life now.
This is the real story, and today Zelenskyy basically uncapping it for the world to see when he in his evening address mentioned the attack on Sergei Sternenko. Because if you're not on the inside, you know, I'm in Ukraine for almost 28 years now. Okay, of course I was getting ready to speak in foreign language. Of course I know Sternenko, and of course Gordon, and of course all these Ukrainian volunteers and activists that are working so hard. What the world and the media sees is just politics. But real Ukraine, real grassroots effort to fight is a massive operation. And that's why the title was, you're not going to see this on TV, but I'm sharing it with you, and I'm asking you to share this because these people are being hunted. And I'm telling you, volunteers are being hunted. I'm sure. I know my partner Zhenya's name's on a list. There's no question. And I'm sure my name's on a list. And I know others, their names are on a list. It's just the way it is. If you fight for truth and stand for what is right, it gives you the reality of the enemy. The enemy, Russia, is pure evil, led by Vladimir Putin. Now, I've got some other good news. Actually, you know, I mean, that's telling the truth about Sternenko and Gordon. That's great news, so we can understand. But let's get now to Yuri Paveeno. You say, okay, Greg, who's Yuri Paveeno? Well, he is a deputy there in Kyiv in the Rada, and he is keeping the pressure on. So we've had Zelenskyy talk about Red Square on May 9th. We've had Budanov. He mentioned, you better have earplugs if you're going to be going to that victory parade. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is all calculated. Now you have a deputy, Yuri Paveeno. The time will come and we will strike at Red Square. Whether it will be May 9th or sometime later, but the time will come. Here it is.
You're thinking of striking Red Square? I believe the time will come when we'll hit Red Square. It might be this May 9th or sometime later, but that time will come, as Moscow has many valid military targets that have caused great harm to Ukraine. For every child, civilian, and soldier killed, there will be vengeance and justice for all who committed war crimes in Ukraine against our people.
There you have it. And this is why you can forget the freezing of the line and the giving away of the territory and all of this. Here's the deputy. It's the same statement that I try to share with you guys from the soldiers. We're not going to give away anything. We're going to fight, and there will be vengeance for every child, every civilian, and every soldier that has been killed where? On our land. You invaded us. Not giving up. We're fighting. And we see, I'm telling you, that meeting at the Vatican might have made some adjustments. We'll see. Zelenskyy today in his evening address, and I didn't translate that part, I was just saying, listen, you gave me 15 minutes alone, and you're seeing some movement because I was able to share some truth face to face without the clowns around us. That's just the way it is. Now, other news that is coming out today, and yes, I do have the Russian official response to the mineral deal, to the threats on Red Square, to the talk about America may be getting more involved. or less involved. We'll see. But here's the other news, and I know others are covering it. Vance previewing Trump's plan to juice the economy in Russia-Ukraine war the next 100 days. Of course, all that's unfolding. Hey, listen, it was from 24 hours to 3 days to 100 days, and now another 100 days. What does that mean? Unfortunately, that means that the war is going to go on, okay? And what you need to understand, like right now, there is some news that Russia's getting a little bit of a push on Pokrovsk tonight and a push in Sumy. So they're coming. And the 3-day truce that Vladimir Putin wants for his parade is multifold. Number one, it's so an air alarm doesn't go off and he's embarrassed and world leaders are there. Okay, but secondly, the weather's now moving into late spring and summer. It's time. And there will be an advance. There will be a push from Russia. Ukraine has already said it. Zelenskyy has said it. In fact, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, the president, said, listen, you better watch Belarus. They may come from there. This is what we're facing. Now, mineral deal. I know others have covered it. Got one signed, reconstruction and no debt. The bottom line is Zelenskyy went from having no cards to having all the cards. Overall, we're thankful. It's good in the big picture. Waltz is out. Now, I can tell you, I was talking to Gertis earlier on the phone. The Russians are trolling. They were trolling. Okay, Witkoff's going to be the next national security advisor, our guy. Oh, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene would be good for that position. Just having fun. I mean, this is what they do. Lindsey Graham coming out talking about broad support for up to 500% sanctions against Russia. We'll see what unfolds from that. Is the U.S. out? For now, no. Does the mineral deal give an exit out? That's what the thought was. But for me, I honestly believe that if the United States goes out, and regardless of the outcome, which we believe and fight for Ukrainian victory, Trump will be seen as a failure. And if the opposite happened, Trump would be seen as a failure. So we'll see. Just step by step, ladies and gentlemen, we go step by step with the facts. Now, do we trust what we're seeing from the United States? Heck no. I wouldn't trust Donald Trump as far as I can throw him, and I can't even lift him. Now, I will tell you there's some good news. Decommissioned F-16s are coming to Ukraine. And you say, well, why are they sending us the junk? It's called spare parts. Nothing wrong with that. That is good. Also, about $50 million deal to Ukraine for arms with direct contact. You have to pay for the shipping, all of that. But hey, it's at least a movement in the right direction, specifically speaking about air defense. And I know 50 million is not a lot, but it's better than zero. At least we have movement in the right direction. And finally, what we've been waiting for, only official Russian response coming out with the whirlwind. No statement from Putin, no statement from Peskov, no statement from Zakharova, but we do have a statement from the foreign ministry. And this is it. It is absolutely clear that the futile and groundless claims of the Kyiv regime and the forces supporting it in the West, United States, mineral agreement, etc., to the so-called restoration of Ukraine to its 91 borders are motivated by cannibalistic instinct to exterminate everything Russian. Of course, Russia will never allow such a scenario to be realized, Foreign Ministry said in a statement released today. And that's it. Crickets. All we have is crickets. So, we're patient. We don't make videos just to make them. We want to share the truth and reality with you, and I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I'm really hoping that you take time to share this video, because this is some of the key stories at the beginning that even, Zelenskyy referring to Sternenko, and I showed you about Gordon. Nobody talks about these stories outside of Ukraine because you just don't know, but it's big. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. Appreciate all that you do. We'll be back later.